Let's go to the UK, where the BBC are saying that 500 staff will lose their jobs over the next 2 years to help them with their bottom line. But it's not all bad news for the BBC. They can't afford to pay 500 staff who they're letting go, but they can afford to spend £800 million a year on diversity programs, you know, the stuff that really matters. £80 million a year.
Sorry, did we say BBC or ABC? Because this sounds remarkable. It's just like you got the currencies.
Oh, it's the same all over the world with national broadcasters. Yeah. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the BBC eventually firing staff and just replacing them with newer, woker DEI hires instead?
Well, look, we had a similar thing that happened at the ABC when they got rid of Andrew Probyn and replaced him with, you know, digital producers. I think one of the issues for mainstream media organisations today is that we do have to do more with less. There are more people tuning out of mainstream media, looking at other sources of media. But public broadcasters, compared at least to the private sector, are in a relatively luxurious position. And you'd think that if there are going to be cuts, if they're going to lay people off and journalists are going to be out of work, you'd at least think that they're managing their budgets effectively and not wasting it on diversity programs. So those are my thoughts on that.
Well, their diversity programs, Jason, are very important to them because they want 25% of all their staff to either be ethnic, disabled, or from a lower socio-economic part of town. Is that a good plan for building a news organisation?
Well, look, I can only relate the Australian experience. The removal of the, pale, stale and males out of the ABC, they did plenty of that, and they moved a lot of people on, and all that's happened is the organisation has gone to the shit. And the whole problem, I think, with the ABC at the moment is it's got too many people. I mean, it might have a lot of diversity, but it doesn't have a lot of integrity. And the diversity they always talk about, it's always about skin colour, or it's always about ethnicity or accents or whatever. It's never about diversity of views. And, you know, I would think the British public probably would love to see its national broadcast, which, by the way, is vastly better than our national broadcast for this country and more popular and viewed. But I think they'd like to see it diverse in its attitude as opposed to just looking at things, because things are a little deeper than skin deep. And you know, it's quite amusing to watch what we know doesn't work in Australia now go on in other parts of the world. And, you know, God help the BBC, because it actually kind of matters to the world, the BBC, and it's tragic in a way that they're going to screw that one up too.
Yeah, it does. Jason and Joe, thanks for joining me tonight. Appreciate your time.